my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I'm seriously so excited to be hanging out with you again today, and thank you for clicking on a video that will hopefully inspire you and be a good conscious form of consumption today, because there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet that sometimes can leave you feeling meh. So hopefully this video will bring something to you, some idea, some inspiration, some insight. So today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite books. I love literature. I love reading because you get to live a million different lives. Every book, every character is a chance to open a new door of perception, and that's one of the books that I'm going to recommend to you. But with our thoughts and beliefs, we are creating our world because we're identifying different experiences and navigating them through our own perceptions, right? So if we gain other perceptions and perspectives and facts, knowledge about the universe and about physics and the laws of the universe, it can just help us become way more open-minded and more expanded in our reactions to this world around us. And I think that's really cool. I am kind of a book nerd. I have just a few titles here for you today. I haven't been going too crazy because I am reading currently the Bhagavad Gita. This has been taking up most of my time reading-wise, but I love it, and this is the first book that I'll be recommending. This is interpreted or explained by Paramahamsa Yogananda, which I also recommend this book, Autobiography of Yogi. This is basically about Yogananda's journey. It's a mystical tale. It's an adventure. It is so inspiring, and for me, the biggest takeaway that I got from this book is listen to my intuition, which maybe not everyone got that download. Main people who spread yoga to the Western world, there were a lot of true, deeply mystical happenings that occurred in his life and in this time in India that nowadays it's really hard to find that real magic because of social media. I think like gurus who actually have certain capabilities or powers aren't going to be posting on Instagram. They're going to be hidden away, and I think less people are on a quest. At least that is my reality in this world, that less people are on a quest to completely tune out of the radioactivity and the technology and really just study and meditate and devote their lives to a guru in hopes of finding connection with God. Which maybe within themselves. Yogananda's a dope dude. I recommend this book. So many people have recommended me this, and when I read it, I was like, oh, I get it. So it's full of his journey and also just so many downloads, and like I said in the beginning of this video, you're just going on these journeys of these characters, and his is an epic tale, my friend. So I highly recommend it. You will learn so much. He just was born conscious and aware of his existence and his purpose on this earth, just knowing everything that he was going to do. His path was just so beautiful. It is kind of a story about energy and attraction and inner knowingness. So he used to mail out meditations, Kriya Yoga meditations, and just packets of information to people who wanted to know about this stuff. And then I'm pretty sure he created the actual building establishments where people could come and do the meditation in person. And there's one in LA for sure, and then I think there's one in India, and I don't know about any other locations. There's also a movie which I will link down below if it's on YouTube. But he interpreted the Bhagavad Gita, which some people like to call the Hindu Bible, but his belief is that it's a non-sectarian text. And this book was written by one of his disciples who closely studied with him and took years writing this book. I really like the beginning of it because it really explains the whole story. It doesn't just have quotes from the Bhagavad Gita and explaining those, but it really gives you the backstory of what it's all about. And it's basically a battle that we're all dealing with, a battle in our minds between good and evil, between higher consciousness and the current level of sensory pleasure and satisfaction and desire that we can feel. A story of how to end this cycle of life and death. I'm still reading it. I like reading this after my morning meditation. It's like the perfect time to really absorb these potent nuggets of information. Kind of like the middle path in Buddhism. It's meant to use these worldly experiences to reach higher levels of consciousness, not banish them or say that it's wrong to experience these sensual pleasures. There are different paths. So there's the bhakti path, which is a devotional path, the yoga path, there's the yana. Let me find it. It's in the beginning. I underlined it and shit. The Bhagavad Gita teaches every important aspect of the spiritual path. During activity, karma yoga, the yoga of right action. During thinking and discrimination, jnana yoga, the yoga of wisdom and discrimination. Discriminating, I think, between good and bad, or what is real and what is not real. Like what is an illusion in this life. And when feeling and experiencing emotion, Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion. There is a central teaching in the Bhagavad Gita, however, which unites all paths even as subsidiary streams unite in a large river. So there's so many different paths to this one pool of like pure consciousness, basically. That river, Yogananda said, is the energy flowing in the spine. So Yogananda believes that God is in your spine. If you've ever heard that, I learned this extensively, that energy rises up the spine. Their energy is kind of weaving up the spine. The reader today is confronted by an almost bewildering array of translations and commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita. The very universality of this scripture invites people to see it in terms of their own diverse approaches to the truth. Whatever stage you are at in your life, however you're seeing the world right now, that is what different interpretations will resonate with you. This just makes complete sense to me and to my intuition and to my life's path. I'm just like, yes, I understand everything about this interpretation. I agree with a lot of these things. I feel these things on an experiential level, but in a few years that may change and I might gravitate towards other viewings and interpretations. Any path or teacher that says this is the right way, like, I just think that's a little bit closed-minded, because everyone has their own different physiology and karmic past, and everyone is just a different person. So the things that work for me aren't necessarily going to work for you. Just simply put it that way. So I just really appreciate when big religious groups and ideologies can say, hey, this is one way that you can do it. And it just makes me feel so much more free to see if it fits for me. And if it doesn't, just take what feels right from like these different things and apply them into my life. So this is an awesome book. I will have all the books that I talk about linked down below. And I wanted to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, which is Blankest. And as I'm talking about these books, I know some of you may not be super into reading or not have a lot of time to read or find spiritual books that intriguing. So Blankest is an app that basically takes over 2,000 different texts and they transform them into 15-minute powerful little packs that you can listen to or read. You can even download the little audio versions, but it basically will take a book like this, for example, would maybe take me a week or two to read with my schedule, and I can listen to it in 15 minutes. I can download it and save it, listen to it underground on the subway, and I can also read it at the same time, which is my favorite thing. I love being read to, but while also being able to follow along and highlight things. And Blankest actually has a highlight category, so I can save all my highlights and it's like I'm taking notes, and I just really appreciate it because I like studying, I like remembering things. I was actually really good at school because of that. I like having my facts there. They have tons of different categories of books to look through. My favorite kind of books to read on this app are books about science and physics, because to me those can be really boring and personally hard to get through. So it's really nice having those read to me. Check out their playlist. I really like the way that they categorize their different kinds of books. It gives you the most potent information. And what I've been doing is every time I feel like going on social media when I need to fill a void, X out of Instagram and I go to Blankest and I spend 15 minutes on that app instead. And it's so much more rewarding because I just feel intelligent. I feel like well-rounded as a human being. I'm like, wow, I'm just absorbing this information. And it's like a little act of willpower that changes the way that I see myself. I'm like proud of myself for not going on social media when I'm anxious, reading and absorbing something that will like expand my mind more than Instagram, which usually just lowers my vibration. But they have monthly prices, yearly prices, and they have free options as well. And the first 500 people to click the link in the description or go to Blankest.com/Hitomi will get 20% off of a membership. The more you know. Back into the physical books, I'm going to go into these books about cultivating sexual energy. This is the female one and this is the male one. I've talked about this before. I'm gonna start reading the male one because I really am just curious to know what's going on with the male sex organs, how all of that anatomy works. Truly, I mean, I have a basic understanding, but I'm trying to like actually know. It's really exciting to learn about your body and to try these different practices. Learn about how not to completely deplete your energy every time. Connecting with my body in a much deeper way than I have before. It's just like Eastern medicine, sexual meditations and everything in that realm. Great options if you want to explore your own sexuality. You don't need to have a partner to do these practices at all. In fact, you should work on fine-tuning your own awareness of your body before going into it with a partner. And this last book, or second to last book, is just kind of fun. The Doors of Perception. This talks about the profound exploration of mind-expanding drugs. So there's a lot of facts in here, but there's also a lot of trippy experiences, and once again feels like you're going on this journey and going through different realms. And one of my favorite things about this book was how it was written. I really love the diction and I love the tone of this book. It's like such a big part of the whole reading experience. You know, some books you just go from page to page to page just flipping, and it's really easy to get through. And the last book is a poetry one, which I think I might have talked about before, but new American and Canadian poetry. I'll try and find this and link it down below. This is some random book. Who is this published by? John Gill by the Beacon Press. But I found this at a table in New York, and it's still one of my favorite poetry books because it's such a collection. I like poetry that just fucks your mind up and you're like, what is going on? What are all these metaphors? What does this mean? I have to ask my friends what their thoughts are in this. I actually just found a poem that I wrote on the side of this, so let's just read it, brothers and sisters. The little girl I knew grew up with sex on her mind, a secret cigarette between her lips. Between weaving trees in the winter, the smoke rose caressing cigarette-thin branches. The 14-year-old becoming aware of her magic, connected with pleasure and questioning why everyone made it seem so hard. Like it was gray and murky, thick like smoke inhales. Coming felt like a natural birthright, but trying to get a taste of their words made her cough it up. Something like that. I don't know. Let me get closer to you guys. Upon your leaving, for Sonia. Night, and in the warm blackness your woman's smell filled the room. As our rivers flow together, become one in love's patterns, our sweat-drenched bellies made flat cracks as they kissed. Like sea waves lapping against the shore, rocks rising and rolling and sliding back. And your sighs softly calling my name, becoming love's song child. Women's songs old as 1,000 years, new as the few smiles you released like sacred doves. And I fell asleep, ashamed of my glow, of my halo, and ignoring them who waited below to take you away when the sun rose. Day, and the sunlight playing in the green leaves above us fell across your face, traced the tears in your eyes and love patterns in the wet grass. And as they waited inside in triumphant patience to take you away, I begged you to stay. But Etheridge, you said, I don't know what to do. And the love patterns shifted and shimmered in your eyes. And after they had taken you and gone, the day turned stark white, bleak, barren, like the Nordic landscape. I turned and entered into the empty house and fell on the floor, laughing, trying to fill the spaces your love had left, knowing that we would not remain apart long. Our rivers had flowed together. We are one and are strong. I just got so many chills reading that. It's like a fun little riddle. So yes, those are my favorite books. I hope you guys like this video. Let me know what your favorite book is, or if you're gonna get any of these, I will have them all linked down below for you. And don't forget to click link in my description to get 20% off of a Blankest membership, which is really awesome. I highly recommend. I've been trying not to shout at my camera like I used to because my mic used to be really bad and this mic isn't as bad. So I've been trying to talk more quiet, more soothingly than I have in the past. So let me know if you like that. I just project my voice really easily, and I like to. Sometimes I just have a loud voice, you know? I feel like we're on a first date and I don't want to say goodbye. But thank you guys for watching. It means the world to me. And I hope you find some peace today and spread the peace. Just do something that makes you feel good and remember the true essence of who you really are. So thank you. I will see you in my next video. Like this video if you like it, and have an amazing time in this life. Bye guys.